So the first thing I'm doing on this particular test, I do have my hands on the wheel, but I'm going to take this off. I am in a parking garage, and I'm going to hands-free get myself out of here. And look at this. It's actually navigating the parking garage pretty well.
Now turn left onto North Adams Street.
Alright. Apparently it wanted to go the wrong way there. Elon, if you're listening, maybe we want to address parking garages in future updates. I'm curious to see if it's going to take the correct turn. Yeah, it is.
Now turn right onto North Adams Street.
And it is actually taking the next correct turn, so that's good. Just that one that it missed. It's not perfect. Full self-driving has a ways to go, but please, all right, good.
Now turn left onto North Adams Street.
All right, so today I'm going to be testing the full self-driving 12.5 on the Cybertruck. We're going to start in the city, and we are heading to a charging station, which is about a 20-minute drive away in
right
Seville, Ohio, I think. Maybe don't quote me exactly on how to pronounce that, but okay, now coming up to this little gate here, it is going to
now turn left
not
onto North
handle
Adams Street.
so well from personal experience. Yeah, no. It was about to run that gate straight through. I had to put the brake on. So let's let's get myself navigated a little bit closer to this card reader here. All right. So now I'm taking manual control for just a minute.
Now turn left onto North Adams Street.
It really did not want to recognize that there was a gate there. But we're back on hands-free, and it just passed a car. I'm sure you can see everything that I'm seeing. We're at a roundabout, and it went the correct direction, which is nice. It even stopped at the stop sign. You can see the double yellow lines. It's keeping track of where I am.
Street.
I am going to override it here because I actually want to keep going straight. The direction it took me is valid. I just don't particularly like that.
In 500 feet, turn right onto East Market Street.
I think it's a little bit more efficient going straight. If you can see the map on the screen there, the freeway actually is to my right here. So I'm going to just get myself back in the direction that I want to go. A little bit more efficient. I think the way that it was going to take me was going to go kind of the back way around the hospital here. But here we go.
In 500 feet, turn left onto Goodkirk Street. Now turn left onto Goodkirk Street.
So we're going to be going from city streets just fine there. Now we're kind of on the on-ramp for the freeway. It's kind of a little side street, like a little sort of a frontage road. It seemed to handle that merging traffic just fine. Okay, that was a little bit of an abrupt stop. I had my foot ready on the brake there, but didn't actually need to press it. It did stop in time. And so now we're kind of easing through the stop sign here. Those cars coming off the freeway, I guess, gave the truck a little bit of pause there. So, all right. I'm actually really excited about this, if you can't tell. Cautiously optimistic that the Cybertruck is ready to actually drive itself. It might be, it might not be. Please keep in mind, this is supervised. You do still have to keep your eyes on the road. The biggest change from previous editions of full self-driving, you don't have to keep your hands on the wheel anymore, so there's no more tension that you have to place on there.
In 500 feet, take the Ohio 8 South ramp on the left.
So I would just recommend maintaining a state of readiness. Be ready to grab the wheel and take over. And keep your foot close to the brake. The last thing you want to do is run into somebody because you're not paying attention or because you're putting too much trust in technology. So, wow, that is not the charging point that I want to go to. I'm going to end this trip here. I am going in the correct direction, but we're going to go to this one. There we go. Okay. I guess the charging station I put in before was about 116 miles away. That would not have been a fun trip. Instead, we're going to go to 122 miles away. It's a 23-minute trip. Doesn't really change this test because we're still going in the same direction. All right. Now, for some reason, it did not pick up that I wanted to have it to be in self-driving.
Now take the Ohio
I think it got turned off, and I didn't get to turn it back on. So, probably my fault, but here we go. Okay, so we're on the freeway, merging into traffic here. There is a car behind me. There is a car off to my left.
Take exit 0A0 be on the right onto Interstate 77 north, Interstate 76 west toward Barberton. Then keep right to take Interstate 77
For the record, this test is being done in Akron, Ohio. And we are going a little bit below the speed limit. The way I have the settings for the autopilot, it's supposed to be kind of the adaptive speed, you know, whatever it feels is safe for the conditions.
Be on the right.
When I tested it yesterday in the city, it was having me go a little bit faster than the speed limit. Now my foot wasn't on the pedal, but it was going maybe 5 to 10 miles over the speed limit at times, so be aware of that. According to the information when you turn self-driving on, you are responsible for maintaining your speed as per the speed limit. So if you get caught going above the speed limit and it's on self-driving, you're probably still going to get a ticket. You might be able to argue it in court, but I wouldn't bet on it. So anyway, I'm going to try to do this trip without interfering with the computer here. And as much as I would love to have music playing, I can't monetize this video if there's any kind of copyrighted material on it, so it is what it is. Here, but it did do okay. There was a car kind of in the red zone, but the truck was able to slip in between the car in front and behind me as my lane ended. did, so that's nice. I remember on my Model 3 years ago, it would have sideswiped a car.
In 1 mile, take the Interstate
definitely
76
was not
west exit on the right toward
ready.
Interstate 277, Barberton.
Not at the time anyway, so. Alrighty. Something I like about this particular version, it actually does have me, for the most part, in the middle of the lane. It does actually feel like it's, you know, a natural, smooth driving rhythm here. It's not aggressively changing lanes, at least not yet. It is, I think if you could see the screen here, the speed limit is 55 miles per hour in this area. It has me going at 58. But if you look at the traffic, I'm basically matching what other cars are doing, and I'm actually still getting passed. So, okay, now here it has me. What is it doing here? Okay. Yeah, that didn't feel
Now
very
take the East
comfortable.
Avenue South ramp on the right.
I had to take over just there. It had me about to do something very dumb. Like I said, be prepared to take over. It was going to merge into another car, so be aware. There are faults with this. The lane I was in was coming to an end. It only had an exit ramp, and the computer wanted to try to cut somebody off when that was not appropriate for the situation. The only way that would have worked is if the lane continued forward, which at the time it did not. So we are, I guess, going to be going on a surface street for a minute. Now I am familiar with that particular exit. This surface street does connect back to the freeway, so we're going to get back to freeway testing, but be aware if you're going to use the FSD on the Cybertruck or on any of the 12.5 rollouts. If you're in heavy traffic like that, you kind of want to pay attention if your lane is going to come to an end. So. Because that's the direction. Off to the left, the little bridge that I went over, that's where the freeway runs. And then it takes a turn down the road here a little to get onto the freeway where it continues for me now. So, alright. Like I said, just pay attention. Full self-driving does not mean autonomous. Not yet. I think part of the problem is that this truck might be able to drive itself, but there's still the human factor with other cars that don't drive themselves, and because they're a bit more unpredictable than a computer that's based on algorithms, there is still the possibility of error. And until every car on the road is autonomous and possibly maybe even interconnected or has some sort of like transponder system where it knows where the other cars are and what they're planning on doing, you're not going to get rid of that human factor. It's ingrained into the whole situation here. So, and hey, I'm actually coming in under the speed limit right now. It's 35. I was going 31 or 33. In any case, this is a combination city and highway test. So I guess we're gonna get a good mix of both.
In 1,000 feet, turn right. Now turn right.
Okay. Here we are at the intersection. We've got a green light, and it merged onto the on-ramp here.
In 500 feet, stay straight to take the Interstate 76 west ramp. Now
Back
stay
to
straight
doing
to take
okay.
the Interstate 76 west ramp.
But the caveat here is that there aren't really other cars on the road, at least not to the extreme that there were before. And what are you doing, truck? Okay. So, oh, this is gonna be fun. I might have to take control here again because the signs, at least as far as I saw, this is actually a left turn only lane, but the truck decided to go straight. It ended up working out, but technically that was not okay. For any law enforcement watching, I am actually paying attention to other cars that are on the road, making sure that I'm not putting anyone in danger. Obviously, I don't want to crash or ruin anyone's day, mine or theirs. I do have to say, even just a few minutes into this drive here, I am having doubts whether or not I would trust this with my life. Just some of the intersections and some of the way that it's handled on lanes ending, it is giving me a little bit of pause. I think on the freeway, it'll be okay if your goal is basically just to go in a straight line or get from one city to the next. As long as you don't have a lot of complex lane changes or on-off ramp type situations. Right now, it's wanting to keep me in the right lane for some reason. Now, there is a semi to my left. You're going to see it here in a second because it's going faster than I am. At the moment, anyway. I guess I can. Oh. You know what? Actually, on full self-driving, it's not allowing me to up the speed limit. Actually, I can't adjust the speed limit at all. It is completely in control of that. So it's not like the lane control where I can just increase or decrease it. It has 100% taken over the throttle here. So I can't go faster if I want to unless I press the accelerator. I mean, that's okay, I guess. I mean, if it's going to keep it at the speed limit. I suppose that's good for energy efficiency, but I'm curious to find out if that's going to change in time. But it is adaptive. I mean, there are times when it will go faster than what the posted speed limit is if other cars also are. From what I've seen so far, anyway. that semi. Right now it's not going any faster than 61 because there's a car directly in front of me that is going less than that. But here's where I'm going to pick up speed a little, because now that the semi's passed, it knows the speed limit's 65. It knows the car in front of me wasn't going close to that. So I think what it's trying to do is maybe get in front of it, which it doesn't matter now because he's taking the exit here. But my guess is I'm going to have a lane change any minute now. Or I'm just going to draft off the back of a semi. That seems responsible. One thing that's disabled, it doesn't have the ability to set a follow distance at the moment. That follow distance setting is still available if you go into the settings. If you go to autopilot settings here, you can still change, you can turn it back to traffic aware cruise control. I will have to test that on the way back and find out whether or not that actually still works as far as being able to change lanes manually with pushing the buttons on the steering wheel. But here's the setting for the relative speed limit. Mess with that setting a little. I'll give it an offset of plus 10 miles per hour. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to merge over here. Nope. So pressing the turn signal does not change lanes at the moment. And the guy in front of me really wants to tailgate that semi. That's wonderful. Okay. So I'm thinking this is the offset. So now I'm actually going 71, 72, should get up to a maximum of maybe 75, I would think. Or not, maybe it's going to stay at 72. Oh boy, let's bump that back down. Although I think it's actually car that went off the road somehow. That's wonderful. We're going to bump that back up. I'll just keep it at plus 10. Someone's going to have to explain to me what that setting does at some point, or I'll have to figure it out on my own. Supposedly about 8 minutes out. And it sees that the semi is going below the speed limit, so we're passing on the left here, as we should. That actually was a very smooth turn. I didn't feel anything. It definitely felt like a human was controlling it and taking it very cautiously. There is a truck trying to sneak up on my right, but it's going to get boxed in. press on the accelerator and see what happens. Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, so you can actually increase the speed and keep the full self-driving. I didn't have to touch the steering column at all, but pressing the accelerator does actually make you go faster, so you can go beyond that preset limit or preset governor. It seems to be variable and it changes from time to time, so this is an interesting test drive here. I'll do it again if I want to go up, and it's still steering itself. It's still keeping in the lane, but now it's going 72. So 73, yeah. Strange. Strange and cool. Just, again, be safe with this. Don't be that jackass who crashes their Cybertruck and makes the news and gives this full self-driving a bad rap because they weren't paying attention or because they were doing something stupid. I think this is some really nifty emerging technology, and it needs to be able to develop without a lot of problems or controversies that hold it back. At the same time, if there are issues, they do need to be resolved. So it is also part of the purpose of this video. If this video helps improve the software, then it's done its job. So. Alrighty. Okay, now, for some reason right there, it did actually merge lanes when I told it to. I don't know if it's going to do it here. If that was coincidence or not. I kind of wish you could just touch the screen in the appropriate lane. I think that would be a nice way to be able to turn, just do one of these and have it merge over, but okay, see, that did work. So I can control which lane it's in by using the turn signals. At least to a point. I get the feeling that it can be overridden. I'm going to try going back the other way. Alright, here it goes. So, what it seems like to me is that if it detects anything that's going to be a problem, it won't let you switch lanes. If, on the other hand, there are no obstacles detected, no problems detected, then it will allow you to change lanes by pressing the button. So, that's one of those nice to know things. I am going to have to get over into the right lane in a minute or two because I'm only about 1.25 miles away from my destination here.
In 1 mile, take exit 2 on the right onto Ohio 3 towards Savannah, Medina.
I should have enough time to get past the semi. If not, we'll see how the truck handles it. Like I said, I want to try to be as hands-off as possible. There's no car for a good several hundred meters behind me. So if I needed to, I could slam on the brakes and let those semis pass, but I did get up to speed to overtake them, so here we go.
exit 2 on the right.
It should be slowing down enough to make this safe.
In 500 feet, turn right onto Worcester Pike Road.
Haven't touched a thing
Now
so
turn
far.
right onto Worcester Pike Road.
Now, from my experience with this so far, it is limited, but I don't think it's actually going to turn into the parking lot. So I might have to take control here. But we'll see.
In 500 feet, turn left.
There are
Then
plenty
you
of
will arrive at your
cars
destination.
on the road that are possibly blocking my turn into here,
Now
including the
turn left.
motorcycles. So, okay, but he turned, and it is actually turning into the
Now you
parking
have
lot.
arrived at your destination.
So what's it going to do now? It's going to run me into a gas pump. Not great. Okay, so be ready to take over. That's all I can say. Especially when you get to your destination. It handled that okay. I would say it's got a lot of room for improvement. Oh, and you know what? Okay, now that I'm here, I'm going to have an auto park. We'll get this on film as well. It's taking its sweet time. I have noticed something with this auto park. It is not as efficient as I can do this. It really seems to want to kind of like ride the lane, like it wants to ride the line of where the parking stall is. I don't know why it does that, but it does. Sometimes it has you back up, go forward, back up, go forward. It's a little weird. I think that can be improved with time, but it's just going to be one of those things that comes with the development of this technology. All in all, I'd say it's okay. It's better than it used to be, but there's obviously room for improvement, as you saw, a couple times when I had to take over. I'm going to test the other feature here, the traffic aware cruise control. I'm going to test that with this update on the way back to Akron. For right now, I'm going to stop the video or pause it and carry on when I am ready to go.